This is Big Sauce, your host. Joining me in the studio is Dana. Dana, how are you, baby?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well. Jess, the love gun, has the night off again.
Boo.
So I asked the lovely and talented Elise from That's What She Said Boston.com to come back. Elise, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I do like surrounding myself with pretty girls. Is that sexist, do you think? No, not at all. It's better than surrounding myself with ugly dudes, right?
Oh, that's what I'm doing here, right?
What do I care? What do I care what people think anyway? I'm the boss. This is my show, and I'll have on who I want. Damn Skippy. That's right. Dimitri is on the boards tonight. Each week here on the show, we talk about your online dating experiences, which many times, if I can believe the emails and posts, end up resembling bad TV, cable TV horror shows. The misrepresentation, the doctored or old photos, the gender bending, catfishing, the list is endless on methods the anonymous asshats of the internet can dream up. So what do you do? What are you to do? You're single, you want a partner, but online dating has let you down. Well, fret no more, my friends, because FriendFlirt is here. What is FriendFlirt, you say? Well, let me start by saying, who knows you best? You're probably thinking it's your family. But truth is, you hide more from your family than anyone else in your life. It's your friends that mostly know the real you. They've seen you at your best and your worst. They've been with you through the good times and the bad, and ostensibly they still like you if they've remained your friends all this time. And 99 out of 100 are probably on Facebook. Well, your friends have friends that you haven't met yet, right? You never know all your friends' friends. And that's what's so great about FriendFlirt. It's a whole new approach to online dating. FriendFlirt is a Facebook app that seeks out friends of friends and more friends that share the same likes and passions as you do. It finds compatible matches for you across a wide swath of attributes and presents these profiles and these people to you. You get to choose who you like and who you find visually stimulating because we all know looks are the most important, right? Well, besides money.
Preach.
But seriously, once you find someone you're attracted to, you simply ask your friend for an introduction. Just like you would if you were out at a concert or hanging at a bar or chilling at a party. And what's more, you already know you're similar people with similar tastes. That's what the FriendFlirt app finds for you. And unlike all other dating sites, there's much less of a chance the person is hiding behind a fake profile. It's almost zero. Now you can spend more time discovering and enjoying dating and less time wasted on someone with whom you're trying to make that proverbial square peg match into the round hole. You improve your prospects of finding your ideal partner. So sign up now at FriendFlirt.com and get ready to friend source your love life. The official launch of the FriendFlirt app is April 3rd. So the first 10,000 people to sign up will enjoy this service absolutely free. So go now, FriendFlirt.com, and sign your butt up. You know, online dating horror stories are really what we're here to talk about because we want to effectively destroy or kill all your chances of horror stories. But you have some. They've been happening to you all along. So what we want to do is help you stop those horror stories because we don't enjoy them. Dana, when you are not a big online dater, you haven't done a ton of it, but you can see clearly by the emails we get, the flirts, the tweets we get, and all that it's a problem out there. You know, dating is tough these days.
It's scary. There's a reason I'm too scared to do it.
I would be too. You know, Elise, you've done a little bit of online dating yourself, right?
I've done some browsing.
And how have you? What is your? I guess at the end, and you distill it down. Now you're dating someone who you did meet online. I don't think.
No, well,
sort of, right? You met him on Twitter. I know we talked about that last week. But so, if you were to look at dating now, online dating, what would be the number one thing you would want to warn women of right now if they were to create a profile and do some online dating?
Be selective who you talk to. Say a lot of guys are just kind of trolling for sex, and
Really?
if you get, I mean, if you start talking to the wrong guy, I mean,
Yeah.
what do you think
Men
is
are
gonna happen to it?
men interested in sex. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's
Crazy
wild,
talk.
right?
Mike
Wild.
Scheimer is also joining us in the studio. Coming up later on, he is going to be here live to tell us all about some of his online dating horror stories, and we'll be really looking forward to that. Let's get to some of the stories that you've submitted. You, the listener, you, the watcher. If you are listening to us, you're listening on IDO.com. That's IIDIO.com. You didn't happen here by accident. You found us and you clicked on it. You can also live stream us If you go to IDEO.com, it should pop up right there, and you can see us here in the studio hanging out at the Prudential Center here in downtown Boston. This is the what do we call it? FriendFlirt. This is a radio cast, webcast, video cast. We're doing all kinds of stuff here. So I'm excited in just this, that I haven't dated in a long time because I've been married for a long time, but I did a little bit of online dating. It was around started in the late 90s, I think, and then a little bit in the early part of 2000. And I quickly learned that people misrepresent themselves tremendously. I can remember the very first online date I went on, the girl had posted a picture of when she was in high school, and this was 10 years later and about 100 pounds later. But here's the first story that was submitted this week, and short one here, but I don't know if I did. I don't know if I did this one last week. I hope I didn't, because I collect them and I try to cross off the ones I did. But this girl writes in, online dating can produce some of the worst dates ever. The last guy I went out with brought a sock puppet, on our date and tried to talk to me with the sock puppet. He thought he was being cute, but it freaked me out. Seriously, I'm old. Maybe I'm old-fashioned, but no sock puppets, please. Dana, sock puppets, really?
Well, sock puppet sounds like his real girlfriend, I'm guessing.
I think there's a fair amount of guys, when you talk about masturbation, it's a topic we can discuss openly and freely here. What do you do with the end product of masturbation if you're a man? Most women don't have to worry about that, but if you're a guy, there's got to be a place for it to go. And for me personally, I don't like it anywhere near or on me. So a sock seems like a pretty good place to put it. Would you agree?
I don't usually jerk myself off into a sock, but
You don't usually.
What do you usually do?
Once in
when
a
you
while,
masturbate?
though.
Elise, have you ever dated a man who produced a sock puppet?
No, you mean what do you mean a sock? Like
he puts a sock on his hand. I'm taking from the story that he had a sock on his hand and he was talking to her, trying to get her to interact with the sock.
No, I've never had somebody try to get me to interact with a sock.
Have you ever dated a puppet guy, like a guy who did puppetry?
No.
Would that freak you out if a guy that you met, and it doesn't matter if it's online or you met him in person, and you found out he was like a puppet master? And I'm not talking about a ventriloquist. I mean like a puppet guy.
That'd be funny. Who cares?
It would depend on how reliant he was and if he talked to it when no one was around. I feel like that would be a big thing.
I went to art school, so the things that are out there for me are pretty out there.
I guess in your quest when you're younger to establish an identity and to figure out who you are, a lot of times, I never had the imaginary friend growing up, so I don't know if folks out there listening and watching, if you had an imaginary friend. We're going to open the phone lines in a little bit, so if you want to write this number down, it's 857-366-5444. Coming up in about 15 or 20 minutes, we'll open those phone lines. If you have an online dating horror story you'd like to share with us, we certainly do want to hear it. Also, if you had an imaginary friend, I never had one, but I did do something when I was younger. I remember I was probably 10, 11, 12 years old. I grew up across the street from a wooded area. So the kids and I in the neighborhood used to build a lot of forts with old wood that we found. Like people would knock down barns and things like that. So we would build forts and we would play like army in the forts.
You are a big fan of old wood, after all.
But, we used to do that a lot. And sometimes when nobody was around, I would go out there with my little toy gun and I would play like I was in the army and roll around in the dirt and hide in the fort and oh my God, the Indians are coming or something like that. Now, Dana? What did you do when you were younger? Like, did you have an imaginary friend?
I didn't. I feel like I should get one as an adult so I can blame him for my terrible mistakes and ideas.
Is it unusual to have an imaginary friend? What do you? I didn't. I had a little brother. That worked well enough for me.
Did you beat up on your little brother?
Oh, I was so mean to him. Poor kid. Oh, yeah.
Do you apologize now that you're an adult sometimes? Like, geez, I really feel bad the way I treated you.
Yeah, I do.
I did that in my early 30s. I was mean to my brother at some points, and I did apologize. I gave him a big hug. I'm like, I really feel sorry for the things that I did to you, because now when I think back, God, they were cruel. Like, we were cruel to each other.
One time I hit him with a seatbelt, and it hit him just in the right spot that blood started squirting out of his head. I freaked out my parents.
Oh, no.
Sorry, Zach.
My brother, when I think we were 8 or 9 years old, hit me in the head with a shovel as we were shoveling snow in the driveway. And I had to go to the hospital. I had like a bunch of stitches.
That explains a lot, right?
So, yeah, it was tough. But here's another story. This is another quick, easy one. I went on a date with a girl who bragged about giving her ex a permanent limp by hitting him with her car out of pure malice. She thought it was a cute little factoid. So I guess that's a great segue into this whole violence thing. Do you run when you feel threatened? Like if a guy you feel might be physically threatening to you, he gets angry and you feel like, it's a different kind of anger. When a guy gets angry at you, it's a very different kind of anger when you think he might hit you as opposed to he's just angry and yelling. Have you ever experienced that type of fear, like, I think this guy's going to hit me?
Yeah.
And it's scary, isn't it?
It is scary, yeah.
Because you don't really know what to do, especially if you're in a car, like the Rihanna, Chris Brown thing, you're alone somewhere. What do you do if you think a guy's going to hit you? Do you immediately sort of become submissive and yes him
You know what I
until
usually
he calms
do?
down?
I say, Dean, get off the sauce. Okay? Back up, because that was last night.
But really, I mean, I have one girl in my life who actually struck me once.
Well, it's got to be hard. It's not like you could hit her back.
No, exactly. I couldn't. And she was angry at me. You know why she was angry at me? Because I was angry at her for yelling at me in front of my friends because I was watching a girl dance on stage. And it wasn't like I was leering at her. It was just she was on the stage dancing, doing like the booty dance. What do those girls do in the nightclubs where they stand up on the speakers?
They twerk.
Is that what it's called?
I don't know. Is that they twerk? They're like go-go dancers.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And so she's there, and I'm just watching. That's the entertainment for the night. So I was just looking at that. She got all angry with me and literally slapped me very hard across the face. Like, why are you looking at her? You should be looking at me. I'm like, well, what would you like me to do? Look at the martini glass in front of me? She's dancing up on the stage. Not a big deal. But, here's another short one. I thought this one was pretty cool. Took a girl to dinner. Girl said she was living with her ex. On the way home, she said she was still married. A little disingenuous in there. But you can get that online, right?
Oh, yeah.
That'll happen.
Oh, yeah.
Has that happened to either of you?
No, but I'm sure that some of the guys that have reached out to me on OkCupid at some point have definitely been married. I'm sure of it, yeah.
Well, I mean, some sites exist just for that purpose, right?
Yeah, they
Adam and
shady.
Eve. AdamandEve.com, I think it's just for married people.
No, Adam and Eve, that's a sex toy website. You might be thinking of Ashley Madison.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Yeah.
So, can you tell by profiles if someone's married? Dana, I know you've done a fair amount of research on the OkCupid profiles. Can you tell by some of the wording, some of the way these are written, scripted? Can you tell when someone might be married?
Well, you can tell when they're a douchebag, that's for sure. I don't know. I think anybody who explicitly says not seeking a relationship or something, I mean, that it doesn't mean they're married, but not that everybody who goes online for these things has to be like looking for, the man or woman of their dreams, but I think to outright say it, versus
something's going on.
Yeah.
Something's happening.
Have you been in a situation where you thought the guy that you were on a date with could be involved with someone else?
Oh, yeah.
What do you do? Do you call him out on it, or?
No, I mean, I saw this guy for a little bit, and I found out afterwards he was seeing one of my friends, and he had a couple other girls, and it's almost more satisfying to just like kind of disappear, and then when he hits you up again, just be like, no, I'm all set. like you don't know, and he thinks you don't know, but and then he thinks it's something he did.
So you get like an evil satisfaction out of squashing his dream of dating you again.
But he's the one who's being shady.
It's hard. I recall when I was single, there was one time when I was dating two girls at once. So I would see, but they both knew about it. They didn't know each other, but they knew that I was dating someone else. But after a few weeks, it just so happened that we were both in the same, or three of us were in the same place at one time, and they met. And the end result the following day on Sunday is I wasn't dating either one of them anymore.
Of course.
But I was completely open and honest that, yes, I am dating somebody else. And each one of them wanted to know so bad who the other one was. I'm like, what do you care? You don't know each other. They didn't even have any friends in common.
Well, it's like a competition. I mean, it's like animals, you just want to know who the competition is. And is she prettier than me? Is she, that's how people are.
You should have pit them against each other. Use the competition to your advantage, but you didn't. You
blew
blew it. You blew it.
I was only like 21, so I was stupid.
Yeah, you mismanaged that one. Sorry.
I totally did. So
say that one of them's better at than the other
That's
one.
That's a great point. Absolutely.
I would feel really bad. I am the type of person who just loves to find someone's hot button and then just push it till they hurt. I'm pretty well known for that in my little circle of friends.
I'm still hurting.
But then, at times, I do have to ratchet it back because I used to go too far. At times, I might still go too far. But if you let it be known that that bothers you, you let it be known that that's your hot button, then why wouldn't I push it? Why would anybody push it? Do you have a hot button? Elise, do you have a hot button? Like, what gets your goat in relationships?
Do I have a hot button in relationships?
Yeah.
I think...
if your boyfriend's listening, turn the
Yeah.
radio up.
Do I have a hot button?
No, my thing is punctuality. I hate when people say that they're gonna do something and then say, "Oh, well, this came up and I'd rather I don't mind if something else came up, but if it's sort of like if we had plans to do something and then all of a sudden, oh, I don't feel like it, or I'm gonna show up 2 hours late, or I'm not into that.
Yeah.
I don't have enough time in the day for you to be wasting it. So I mean, if you don't want to see me, then don't see me. That's fine. I don't care. I have other things to do. But don't make me clear my schedule for you and then back out on me. That bugs me.
Yeah. I can see that.
I've done that a few times when I was younger. I remember I had plans to go to New Jersey to Action Park. I don't even know if Action Park's around anymore. This is like 25 years ago. And the girl, it was my girlfriend. I was dating her for a couple of years. But I was famous for doing this to her. I would make these big plans, and it would be on a Saturday. And New Jersey was like a 4 or 5 hour drive. And I tell her we would do it, and then I'd go out Friday night and get drunk. And most likely, I was probably, flirting with some other girls. And then, I get home at 3, 4 in the morning. She'd show up bright and early, 6, 7 a.m., and I'm still drunk. And I'm like, we can't go today. I don't feel good. And she goes, no, you feel good. You're just drunk. You're hungover. Yeah, it was mean to do. I mean, I would, give me a time machine, I'd go back and change things. Well, no, I wouldn't. I kidding. Let's get to another story here. This one's a little bit longer, but I think it is kind of interesting. Another online dating disaster. After emails and phone conversations, I decided to go on a dinner date with this guy who seemed great on paper. 40 years old, a chiropractor, and handsome. He takes me to Houston's, a nice steakhouse. I arrive a few minutes fashionably late. After my last date, I like to have the guy waiting for me. He was waiting for me at the bar. I sit down and order my drink, quickly realized that he must have gotten there much earlier than me and already had several cocktails. So what do you do at that point when you arrive for a date and the guy's drunk? He's already, wired up, and he's already feeling good, and you think at this point in time, I can't really get to know this guy because is this the real him? He's just all horned up and he wants to, rock and roll.
Or if you're drunk too, because I feel like that's a more likely scenario in my case. See who's more shit-faced when they show up.
Are you doing the Fernet at this point in time?
No, I've not had it since I painted your walls black with my throw-up.
Well, she goes on to say, at this point, I'm thinking, here's a professional guy who refuses to grow up. He likes to drink and act like a child. I was always told that first impressions last a lifetime, so I'm not interested in this guy. He invites me to have dinner. I'm thinking, sure, why not? I'm here at least. I might as well get a free meal. If you think things couldn't have gotten any worse, he tells me that he smoked pot right before the date, and he was into taking recreational drugs. All this stuff on the first date, right? I told him that I've never smoked or tried any drugs in my life. He called me a prude. I was disgusted and started in on him. I couldn't believe that he would drive while under the influence of drugs and alcohol, and he should be careful if he gets pulled over by the police. He could get in a lot of trouble. At this point, he continues to be rude to me. I pushed my plate away, told him the date was over, and stood up and left.
Well, I could see. I mean, if obviously to this guy, that sort of lifestyle is important to him. So, I mean, at least he's not, hiding it. You wouldn't want to wait, date the guy for a month and be like, oh, he's a wicked pothead. At least it gets it out in the open. I mean, he doesn't have to puke.
Is that something you'd put on your Facebook profile? You're a wicked pothead.
I feel like a lot of people do that, right? They post all these memes of or some they'll do statuses and be like, it's 420.
That's what happens if you're a free spirit. That's code word for I smoke a lot of pot.
So if you're looking at a profile and it says free spirit,
that kind of stuff,
AKA
hippie stuff. Yeah, I enjoy the many uses of hemp. It's such a versatile plant. You know what I mean? That's code word.
But there are people who will be on board with that. You're better off, finding someone, who's going to be able to be compatible with you in that way. I guess
it would be hard for me. I don't like to be around intoxicated people unless I'm intoxicated too.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. because when they start to slur their words and you're not slurring your words, you don't notice. When you're slurring, you don't notice that they're slurring you. If they are, your defenses are a little bit down. You don't care too much. But when you're completely sober and someone else around you is even just a little tipsy, like that 2 glasses of wine, like giddy and red-faced and smiley, I can't deal with it when I'm sober. I just got to step.
Well, have you ever had that happen where you show up for a date and the girl's like shit-faced? I feel like a guy would be like, all right, this is, going to be pretty easy, in and out business.
Ooh, literally.
When I was younger, yes, and I did have that. I had that mentality. Oh, she's already good and lubed up. She's loosened up and we're ready to roll. But it never worked out that way because, most times she would just continue drinking and then puke. And I did have a couple of instances where 2 girls threw up in my car, and one made me pull off to the side of the road. This was this is no pun intended. This was on Route 69 in Connecticut, going between Naugatuck and New Haven, Connecticut.
Is that why she puked?
It might have been. I had to pull over to the side of the road, and she yacked off the side of my car. Like after that, we stopped at like a little convenience store gas station.
That's pretty standard for most of your dates, though. They puke, whether they're drinking or not.
Well, she got gum and she got some water and then I don't know, something like diet ginger ale, and washed her mouth out. And it was feeling great after that. And she was ready to kiss me when I dropped her off at home. I'm like, I'm not kissing you after this. She's like, why? I cleaned my mouth out. I'm like, get out of my car, please.
A friend of mine hooked up with it. She was in college. I guess college is kind of like a free-for-all. But she was so drunk, she ended up puking in the bathroom, not all over herself. She actually peed her pants and was, on her lady business. And she ended up finding a young gentleman that night. And when she came home the next day, I was like, good God in heaven. I hope there's a special place for that boy because that's unbelievable.
Why am I feeling sick to my stomach after hearing that story? Oh my God! Here's another story, and then we shall move on. I like this one. I think this one's pretty cool. I've been told I'm good looking. I also have a good understanding of relationship dynamics, healthy relationships. There's code, right?
Yeah.
Healthy relationships, boundaries. Also, I prefer a relationship. I like to get to know the person. So naturally, I get not 1, but 2 women sending me messages to the effect that I must be a sick person because I am too good to be true. So here's a guy who's trying to claim he's, goody two-shoes. Why do I continue online dating? Well, it's the fastest way to find out if someone is similar to me. I don't like going to bars where I can't hear the person, and drunk girls call me a creeper before they even know me. It's really offensive. Is this guy serious?
This guy's
He's
joke.
a creep.
He's a clown.
Yeah, it sounds kind of clowny, right?
He honestly sounds like he wants to make a coat out of some woman's skin, like Buffalo Bill. Like that's how creepy he sounds.
Probably an only child. Sorry if anyone else is.
Yeah, you can be a good guy, but you just don't say you're a good guy. Just be a good guy.
Well, I think anybody who talks about how amazingly attractive they are. And that's like an obstacle to find women. I think probably has a lot of issues.
I did remember. I met a guy at one of the bars I was working in years ago. He's a big, jacked up dude. You could tell he worked out. He probably shot the D-ball in his bum or whatever he did.
Oh man!
But that's some kind of steroid. So I don't know. But I know that
Diana ball.
The way he talked was almost like he was God's gift to the world. Not just to women, but if you should be my friend because I attract all these women. And part of me was like, yeah, I guess I might want to hang around with you. But then the other part of me was like, I don't know that I want your sloppy seconds or someone who's interested in you, but you weren't interested in them, so you're passing her off to me.
You play football for BC?
Oh, that was accurate.
Oh.
That was good.
Right?
I wonder if there's a story in there, Elise. Would you like to tell us?
I was at Mary Ann's one night. Mary Ann's, that little dive bar. It's like.
No, where's that?
It's in Cleveland Circle.
Okay.
So right by the reservoir. And I used to live in Newton Center. And I used to go to this bar, Mary Ann's, all the time. And it's a BC dive bar. Smells like pee and throw up. But it's a good time and drinks for $3.
Expensive pee and throw up.
Yeah, I liked it. I mean, it was a good night out as a junior in college. And I was there, and these guys started talking to my friend, and I was just kind of sitting there, and this guy's like, oh, he's like, this is my name. I was like, oh, nice to meet you, whatever. He's like, yeah, I play football for BC. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, I played rugby for Wentworth. We have something in common. He goes, no, you don't understand. And he's like, you don't even know what my practice schedule is like. Starts going through it. I'm like, all right, just
what a tool.
I was like, tell someone else about it.
Wow.
See ya.
You don't even know. You don't even know that I'm going to be passed over by every NFL team. You have no idea. I am that good.
the one in 500 million that gets selected for that.
I hate BC football players. But that's another topic.
You're listening to FriendFlirt. FriendFlirt is, well, actually, you are listening to Let's Flirt. We are sponsored by FriendFlirt. Are you satisfied with the quality of your online dates? If you're like most people, the answer is a resounding no. Conventional wisdom dictates the best way to find romance is meeting through mutual friends. Until now, online dating has been anonymous, ominous, and quite often onerous. Like the proverbial box of chocolates, you just never know what you're going to get. Now enter FriendFlirt, combining the best that technology has to offer with the time-tested best method of meeting, and that is through mutual friends. While most online dating sites have you filling out extensive questionnaires on which you can always stretch the truth, the FriendFlirt Facebook app gets busy locating ideal matches for you by seeking out friends of friends who share your passions. You find someone you're interested in, and voila! It's safe, sane, and a sure thing. After all, who knows one better than one's friends? So sign up for FriendFlirt today and enjoy dating again. No more creepy phonies or cheesy cronies. No more online dating horror stories. Just real people, real profiles, and real quality matches. Sign up for FriendFlirt today. You know, I love doing this because part of me likes to live vicariously through others. And I get a chance to do that with your emails. I get a chance to do that with your tweets, with your Facebook posts, and everywhere else. And I truly enjoy it. So what I would like to do now is introduce our friend Mike Scheimer. Mike, what's happening, man?
Oh, not too much these days. But...
I know I brought Mike in because Mike, he does a show here on the IDO Broadcast Network called Frugal Fitness. And Mike was telling me in the hallways last week that he has tons, literally tons of online dating horror stories. And he's not that old of a guy, but I think that you remind me of somebody who, because you work so much, you're always on the go, that you just can't find a quality date. So you have turned yourself to online dating, and now you're sort of turned off a little bit because some of the stories that you told me we can't talk about here because they're bad.
That's an understatement. Yes.
But I know you have a few that you can talk about. You can also interact here with us in the show and interact with Mike. You can tweet us. It is at @IamBigSauce. It'll come directly to me, and we'll check it out, and I'll be able to see your tweets here. And Mike, what is your Twitter?
It's at Mike Schiemer, SCHIEMER.
Now, do you ever think about changing your name to make it easier to spell?
No.
Maybe Mike SH?
Yeah, I don't know. But, you know, it's difficult, but it's a unique name, so it kind of stands out. So it balances out, you know. It's all good.
So tell me, what comes to mind, first of all, like one of the worst online dating experiences you've had?
Oh, boy, I have too many to name because I've been using social media, and even from AOL Instant Messenger back in the day before Facebook, you know, to get dates, to get women, whatever, get to know women.
I do remember the AOL chat rooms. You guys ever go on AOL chat rooms?
I was all about those. Absolutely.
I used to pretend, I think I said this before, I used to pretend I was all kinds of different people in the AOL chat rooms just for fun, but I did meet one person.
I went to chat rooms where I knew everybody, not like you. I wasn't a weirdo.
No, I went to chat rooms where I didn't know anyone. I'd find the local ones in the area. And I did meet one girl one time. She had, I guess you would like a tremor thing. Like maybe what do you call that when your
epilepsy?
Head shake? Something like that. She had a shake, but it wasn't. We went to Chili's, I think it was, and as she was sitting, she was pretty, but as she was sitting across from me, all of a sudden I thought there was an earthquake. I saw like her head shake. I'm like, what was that?
Oh, that's not nice.
I do. She did tell me afterwards she took some medication for it or whatever.
Yeah.
But the first thought that came to my head was that could be useful.
She was having convulsions, and you're entertained by that.
So you're going to fake a seizure in a future date because you just...
Wow.
So anyway, Mike, please go ahead. What comes to mind first?
Oh my God! I like you kind of mentioned. I don't date that much anymore, but you know, I used to a lot, and I'm famous. I'm famous and proud for being the biggest cheapskate ever. So and I also used to drink a lot too. So I would run 4 hours late for dates. I would I would go to restaurants and they'd be like, "Wow, Mike, like you really have like thank you so much for taking me out." And then when I pay for the meal, I have a gift card to it. You know, because that's the only reason I took them there, because I had a gift card, and I never would have taken them there.
Sound like a quality date.
Oh yeah, I at least
When
tell it like
can
it
you
is.
meet my mom?
I tell it like it is.
At least, what would be your first reaction if, like, the guy had a Groupon and he took you to, like, the fish house or something?
I'd laugh. I'd laugh. I'd be like, all right, that's fine. I mean, my thing is I'm not going to embarrass anybody. I'm just not gonna. I'm just gonna be like, all right, nice to meet you, and that's it. See ya. And drive myself home. That's the one thing too. I don't let anyone pick me up. I meet someone.
Yeah, that's a good
time.
safety tip.
Especially too. Well, it's not even for safety. It's like if you suck, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You don't want them to know where you live.
Oh no, not at all. No, thank you.
Definitely not, especially Dean. You don't want him even to know your real name.
I like doing the stalking on Facebook and look at people's pictures and see like when they were younger and they post stuff up to now, and I'm like, you've developed pretty well.
What?
Wow.
So how
the opposite.
Is there a way that you could sneak that gift card in where she doesn't see?
I've done it, but I usually am proud of it because again, it's part of my business brand to be as cheap and shameless as possible. So usually, actually, they roll their eyes and they're like, "Oh, Mike," but then they come back with me anyway, so it doesn't matter, you know.
It must be his charm, personality.
Roofies?
Yeah. If this is the
No
first
way.
date and you're showing up 4 hours late and paying with a gift
No,
card.
I don't do that
back?
anymore. I don't do that anymore, but I did it for many
Elise
years.
is thinking of dropping her boyfriend right now.
Yeah, like.
Wait, how did they
I'm
end?
trying. Your boyfriend actually paid me to make him look better by saying this.
Looking pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. I don't do that anymore, but I still use the gift cards.
So
Absolutely.
what was the typical reaction, though? I mean, were the girls like, oh, yeah, this is a good idea?
Yeah, they were not impressed, but usually it was not a deal breaker, to be honest. And
if you're confident about it, though, then I guess they can become more comfortable.
Absolutely.
Right?
Well, I mean, I would show up 1 to 4 hours late, but that was back when I was drinking. You know, I'm 14 months sober now. I can show up early now. You know what I mean, and without a problem. I still have the gift cards. But, at least I'm not a jerk about it.
For all the ladies that are listening, if you want to date Mike, you
yes.
certainly call up and ask him a question here. Relate some of your online dating horror stories. Our phone number in studio, 857-366-5444. Go ahead and give us a call now. We'll open up those lines. Ryan will pick up and chat with you. Elise, I know you have lots of followers on your blog. It's That's What She Said Boston.com. Would you consider... if you write stories, people write in, they comment on your stories. I imagine this might be a pretty good story to talk about if a guy whips out the proverbial gift card. Is it different if it's and I'll ask this to the ladies here, is it different when it's a gift card, obviously, or you can pull out those Visa cards, like credit cards that are gift cards, but it says Visa on it where you can preload it so it doesn't look like the TGI Fridays or the Chili's gift card. Now it's a Visa, so it looks like he's paying with a credit card.
I mean, honestly, it's easy enough to just slip those in together, isn't it? It's like you could do it without anyone noticing.
Yeah, or even just walk up, be like, I have to go to the bathroom, and then just go pay the check, like all stealth ninja-like.
You could do that.
Or if you get a douchey waitress who comes back and says, "Oh, your gift card only covered half." I've seen that happen before. I have some friends that were waiters and waitresses that took a lot of pleasure in embarrassing guys on dates like that. So I think that's reprehensible.
I'm kind of waspy on the first couple dates. I'm really when someone first meets me, I'm kind of an ice queen. Like I said a couple weeks ago, I think I keep everyone at arm's distance. I'm easy to talk to, but I'm kind of just I like to let people run the show and figure out what's up.
Yeah.
I try not to embarrass somebody, but I sit there and I just collect. I sponge what I think I need to know about you, and then if I think it's anything good, I'll come back, and if it's not, then goodbye.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Dana, how many first dates have you gone on? Have you pulled it up? A rough number.
I don't think any, and I'm being dead serious. I've never really dated anybody I didn't somehow know.
None until FriendFlirt. Now you can date without fear.
Well, no, for me, and I'm not even just saying it as a plug or anything. I just, for whatever reason, never did that.
So you became friends, you were just friendly, and then all of a sudden... you have to feel something for someone when you first meet them. And for me, it's always that initial, am I interested or not interested? And it's always within the first 10 or 15 seconds of meeting somebody. So I think that that's reprehensible.
Yeah, I
if I feel like there's something about them that I want to know more. And that's not just like dating; it's like just friends. Do I want to be friends with this person? A lot of people put off this like super negative vibe, like the world sucks so bad, and it makes me crazy because if it takes that much effort to break down those walls of negativity that someone has built up, even just to be friends with them as a job, it's like a chore.
Mm-hmm.
And
you don't need those people; they're a waste of time.
Yeah, it may be that they're the most wonderful person in the world once you break through, and you know these friends that you have. It may be a guy friend of yours, a girlfriend of yours. And you know that they're so rough, they're so hard. They have all these hard experiences in life, so their exterior is like like an iron shell. But once you break through it, they're the most wonderful, caring, loving, friendly person on the planet. But then it always seems to be that even though you've broken through and now you're buddies with this person, that now you have to deal with their attitude with others. So when you bring them around your friends or you're in a pack or group of people, you have to end up explaining why they are the way they are. And I think that that's a lot of work, and I don't want to do it. Am I wrong here?
I completely agree, man. It's not worth the energy, really.
Wow.
You only have so much time in the day, And
it's different. It's different. Like if you're being the ice queen, you're doing it on purpose. And some guys can tell that. Some guys can tell, yeah, she really likes me, but she's playing hard to get. That's okay. That's a different story.
But I think a lot of guys assume that. Sometimes they take that as like it's really easy to misinterpret things, especially like that guy you talked about who thinks he's God's gift to everybody. Like someone like that would interpret that as, wow, she's really into me, when in reality you're just like,
she's not.
Yeah,
she's not that. She's not that into you.
She's not.
I did want to talk. I know we touched on it earlier, so Dana, I'll throw this ball over to you. I know that you have been doing some perusing of OkCupid and some other profiles. What are some of the telltale signs that people write in their profile that women and men both should be a little bit leery of? What are some of the code words that you should be careful of?
Not even necessarily be careful of. I think just what the different phrases and stuff mean. Like, where's one I found? Fun and open-minded, I was thinking was a guy who wants to do anal. I feel like that was like what that meant.
Yikes.
Anyone who says, I just read one a second ago that said, I am normal, which is basically like saying I'm a freak and I am the opposite of normal.
Yep.
I don't know if Mike, because you had a lot of these profiles, what kinds of stuff would you put, like, what do you have in yours?
I have a pathetic OkCupid profile. You should look it up.
All right, what is your...
It basically says, I don't use OkCupid. Follow me on these other social media outlets, and it's pathetic.
But that's better.
I made it because I admit it. It's awful. I made it when I was bored at work. I was on the clock, so I feel good about it.
It was business.
I was getting a paycheck to work on my profile and answer those stupid questions. Like, they ask you some real weird ones on there. And
yeah, here's one. Is astrological sign at all important in a match?
Oh yeah.
I couldn't care less about that stuff.
There are some people
who
live
Leo.
and die by astrological signs, and I proved that it's horse crap.
I love
I'm married to the girl who, when we first met, said, "Oh, our astrological profiles do not." And now 9 years, 8 years we've been married.
I don't know. I totally dig Zodiac.
I always forget which one I am because I don't care. I don't like.
That's going to be a subject for a future show, most definitely. I know we do have a caller. Caller, you're on the air. This is Let's Flirt.
Hello?
Yes. How are you?
Yes. Good, you?
Good. I see you wanted to ask the girl who wants to wait about 4 hours. Tell us about that.
No. Excuse me. The guy on the couch, I don't know his name, he said that he had dates. He'd show up 4 hours late.
Yeah, that's
I'm wondering what type of girl would wait 4 hours.
It
Hello?
was a pathetic girl, and it was a pathetic time in my life, and I try not to let it happen again.
Where did she wait? Where were you bringing her?
It was probably at like her house. I was picking her up or something like that.
And you were like blacked out drunk?
No, that was I was drunk the night before, so that's why I was 4 hours late, most likely. This was years ago.
Have you seen Mike's abs? Maybe that's why the girl waited.
I saw them on my Facebook wall earlier this week when he added me, and I saw 2 pictures.
I'm very
15
sorry.
Minutes of abs.
I'm sorry,
So,
Dean.
hypothetically speaking.
I'm sorry, what was that?
No, I was saying, hypothetically speaking, you tell her, you gotta show up at 6 o'clock, and then you show up at 10, and she still goes out with you?
That's a Mac Daddy baby, right?
Unfortunately, that did happen a few times. I don't know. I don't remember if they were first dates, or if they were,
or if they were guys.
Or they have daddy issues or
they would have
something?
waited 6 hours, probably.
You were doing the grinder thing, right?
Crazy. All right, well, thanks a lot, guys.
You got it, man. Thank you.
All right,
You
bye.
are listening to FriendFlirt. Actually, Let's Flirt. I keep calling it's FriendFlirt because we are sponsored by FriendFlirt. We should just make the show name FriendFlirt because I keep thinking flirt, flirt, flirt. We combine the best that technology has to offer with the time-tested and most true method of the ages for meeting that special someone, and that is meeting through mutual friends. While most of your dating sites out there have you filling out long-winded questionnaires, yeah, the FriendFlirt Facebook app immediately gets to work scouring your social media sphere of influence, matching you up with others most compatible with you. It seeks out friends of friends who share your interests and passions. When you see someone you like, simply tell your friend, what's he or she like? Now, introduce me. If your friend says yes, or your friend says no, he's a doofus, you can ask the question, why are you friends with this person then? I like the idea of this friend. I wonder if I can use FriendFlirt to just find friends, like people to hang out with. I love, one of my favorite bands is Tower of Power. I can find nobody who knows the Tower of Power band music. Except I did find one, and that's Jeff Butterworth, who owns RX Strength Training in Cambridge. Jeff's a good friend of mine, good friend of my Big Sauce show.
He's my new Facebook friend.
Yeah, and he's an awesome dude, and he loves. I was at the Tower of Power show 2 years ago. I didn't even know Jeff liked him. I'm dancing. I'm in the front row so everybody could see me because I'm the only idiot standing up, during when the band is doing their jam session.
You're showing your age now.
So David Garibaldi's on the drums, and he's jamming away, and I'm up dancing, and Jeff must have seen me. He comes down, and he says, "Hey," I said, "What are you doing here?" But can we use? Ostensibly, I think we can use FriendFlirt to find friends, not just girlfriends or dates for a guy, right? Could you do that? Would you think of maybe? I signed up simply because we're doing this show. But would you think maybe of signing up and just to find friends that like the things you like? Because at least in your blog, that's what she said, Boston.com, you do events at places around Boston. So you get people who sort of like the same thing, same music, same food. They have these foodie groups now that you can join on Facebook and blogs and different things where if you like certain types of food or you like all types of food, you can get together and do the food and wine thing.
Right.
I belong to a group called the Chaîne de Rôtissiers, which is it's a very cool group. It's a food and wine group where they rent out a restaurant for a night and they do food and wine pairings, and you get to meet people that you would normally not socialize with. So I think it's a very fun thing to do.
Well, I think that's the thing too, though. Even if you are looking to date somebody and say you're not a love match or whatever, maybe you would end up being friends anyway, just by virtue of having these connections.
Yeah, I wondered because when I first came here to Boston 3 years ago, I didn't know anyone. And now I have, tons of acquaintances. I don't know if I'd call them friends. Dane, I think you're a friend. You and I have been knowing each other now, a couple of years. We're friends now.
Just kidding.
Yeah, but, the thing is you seek out people that like you and like the same things that you do. So it's very cool when you can share your passions in life, whether you like music or food or art or whatever it might be, right? That's the kind of partner you want, but don't you and your partner, whether you're in a gay or lesbian or heterosexual relationship, don't you want to surround yourself with people who like the same things that you do, but also you want to be exposed to things that you normally wouldn't think of? Like I would normally have never gone to an opera, but one of my friends that became a very good friend of mine in Miami is a huge opera lover. And we went with he and his wife to an opera show. I can't tell you what the show was, what the name of it was, but I can tell you I did enjoy it. Would I go again? Maybe. I don't know. But, things like that. It's very cool to have experiences.
You got to have
like
a mix.
That.
Good variety.
Mike, give us another story, another dating horror story of yours. Some of a little more juice, a little more,
Shock us.
Yeah, shock us.
So, I don't know, man, because, like I said, there are multiple chapters of my day.
Let's do a sober chapter, like something that happened in the last couple of months or last year or so.
All right. Y'all, I was dating a woman who was 9-10 years older than me, so a cougar. And,
nice.
See, basically this woman was so ruined from, past relationships that, I actually, picked her up on time, picked her up from work, paid for her food without gift cards, was extremely supportive, drove her to her family's house, met her mother, all this crazy stuff. And she basically never reciprocated any of the same kind of whatever you want to call it, kindness, respect, self-respect, anything like that. And the one time I tried to actually challenge her and be like, well, what's the deal? What's with your attitude? You know, I'm trying to do everything I can. Boom. She flipped out on me. Like, oh my God, Mike, like, you can't, like, you can't, like, love a person. You can't, like, you can't take criticism.
Issues.
She sounds like that.
Lots of issues. She talks like, if she's listening, she'll know it's her.
Oh, I don't even know.
Do you think she stalks you on all your social media stuff?
She does.
I think she works out to your videos, like picks up cinder blocks in the middle of parking lots? No?
Not like that. No, she doesn't work out very much.
And that's why Mike's not dating her anymore.
No. It's all character,
Awesome. This is the point in the show where we take a look at your submissions, and with the help of our audience, we pick a winner from the gals and guys who submitted their pictures in our two coveted clubs here on Let's Flirt. It is the Pretty Pedi Posse and the six-pack platoon. However, for tonight, since Jess is not here, we don't have those pictures. But we will tell you, please go and upload those pictures if you want to be part of our clubs. We've got some great prizes coming up we're going to give you, including some free memberships to FriendFlirt once it goes live. So if you go to our website, IDEO.com, and you click on Let's Flirt, you'll get to the show, and very easy. You can submit your online horror stories there. You can also upload pictures, guys. Upload pictures of your abs. Ladies, upload pictures of those fancy pedicures. I know that. What do they do? The airbrushing now? You can, like, airbrush your toenails. That just doesn't sound right. You have artists, people that create art out of nails. So please go and upload those. Great prizes coming up. Mike, do you want to flash for the camera a little ab shot here?
Yeah, sure.
You don't seem to be shy about it, so why don't you give the ladies an ab shot?
Do I have to stand up?
Yeah, stand up right there. Dimitri will get the camera right on you. Mike Scheimer, you can follow him at Mike Scheimer or Scheimer. It's at Mike Scheimer. We'll post that up there so you can see. Here we go. Look at those abs, ladies. Ho! Situation ain't got nothing on you. It makes me want to go and work out. Does it make you want to work out?
I work out.
Do you really?
Oh, yeah.
Do you do the kickboxing thing at all?
I do the real boxing thing.
Do you really?
Yeah, I work out at the ring on Commonwealth.
Oh, I've been there. They have free, like, the first one's free, right?
The first, you have to, for, like, safety, you have to do, like, the first trial one, and then I have the full-time membership. I go a couple nights a week.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, we want to see you. Do you get your toenails done often?
No.
No?
I'm not really that big of a girly girl.
Well, we can have you girly girl it out just
girly
once.
girl it out.
Just I'll tell you what. We're going to one of the sponsors that we are talking to here is a nail salon here in the Prudential area. So if we can get you a free mani-pedi, you'll do that for us, right?
I'll do it. Send my
We'll
picture.
snap some pics and we'll do it. So for all you home and watching or listening, you too can be part of the posse or the platoon. Go to the website IDEO.com/Let's Flirt. Ladies, send us your best pedicure pics. Guys, drop us a smoking six-pack picture, and you could be the winner. I'm planning on submitting my six-pack picture at some point in the future.
It's pretty nice, I must say.
I'm not sure when. When I get it, when the six-pack comes, which it's on its way. I'm working at it. Although I have to shore up the diet. That's what I've been told. Jeff Butterworth tells me that all the time. I know, Mike, we've discussed a little bit on diet. So is it important, or looks are important? Bottom line is looks. Whether the guy could be your ideal match. If he's got a beer gut where you can't see his penis when you look down, that's a problem.
Well, he's not wearing pants. I think that's a bigger problem.
It's more of a problem when he hasn't seen it in a few years, I think.
That's true.
Because there's too much in the way. But,
I did note, I think there was a point maybe about 10 or 12 years ago when I really started to chunk out. I was working out for a while, and then I went into this, like, Dunkin' Donuts, McDonald's explosion, where for about 6 months, that's all I did. Every morning I ate Dunkin' Donuts. Every day for lunch I ate McDonald's. And then dinner I was doing Bertucci's. So I was getting that big sausage and ziti thing.
You had like a nice 6,000 calorie day.
Oh, Maron. You would not believe how fast the weight comes on. And I was so enormous that, and I could always see my penis and see my toes when I looked down. And I remember one day I was at work.
I'm glad to hear that.
I had my shirt. I got to wear a button-up collar shirt. And I looked down, and I could see it, but I couldn't see as much of it as I used to see.
Jeez, man.
And that was it. Then I just
you
went
could
on a
only
tear.
see 2 inches instead of
Instead of 3
or what? Yeah. I was trying to do math in my head,
Well, it's much more for if a guy's overweight. They usually, it's much more forgiving than if a girl is. I feel like.
Some guys like that though.
There's
That's true.
There's some. I know a
Oh,
couple
don't they
guys
call those
who
guys like
them,
the chubby chasers?
Yeah.
I do like that chubby chasers.
More to love, I guess, is what they call it, right?
I had a friend years ago who, when we talked about having a six-pack or whatever, he used to say, why would a girl want a six-pack when she can have the whole keg?
Exactly. I've heard that many times as well.
Yeah.
I don't think that works.
No thanks.
But thanks so much for listening here to Let's Flirt. We will be back again next week. Just a Love Gun back in the house. Please follow Mike Sheemer at Mike Sheemer on Twitter. Also, Frugal Fitness. All you got to do is type into Google Frugal Fitness, and Mike Sheemer comes up
Google
left, right, and
loves
center.
me.
Elise Bogatz. Elise is on her blog. Is called That's What She Said, Boston.com. Another event coming up soon, I hope.
Yeah, we have our second annual birthday coming up April 13th at Good Life Bar
Awesome.
downtown.
I'm going to be
It's
there
gonna be
this
a good time.
I will definitely be there this time. Dana, you got to get on Twitter.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get
You're
Dana
not on
Twitter.
Are you serious?
Sometime
Come on.
very soon. You can follow me on Twitter. It's at I am Big Sauce. Send me pictures. Send me anything. Just send me something. I do love to do this tweeting thing now. I'm getting into it more and more, and I'm going to become an expert at it.
Don't forget at Big Sauce Radio.
And at Big Sauce Radio on Tuesday nights from 6 to 8 Eastern Time. Listen to the Big Sauce Radio Show. We've got some great guests coming up. And also coming up next week, we have a very special interview. I won't tell you about that, but this woman is very well known across the country as a dating expert, an online dating expert. So I'm very
Patty
excited about
Stanger.
that.
She is going to hate me. That's why I'm not going to be on the show.
Thanks so much for listening here to Let's Flirt.